What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 45 of our Social Montbellier Let's Play here in Football Manager 2018. We are back once more, of course, and today it's a very big league game for us. It's a league game that is going to be, the first of the big games that we have this year. You can see we are going to be taking on Marseille. Normally, to start the episode, I'd go through all the games that we played and the goals that have happened. As you can see here, 2 games since you were last here for that game against Chelsea. 2 0-0 draws. Not exactly a classic run of results, I think is the fairest way to look at it. You can see the first game here against Montpellier, bottom of the league, and to be honest, you wouldn't have known it. I feel like we should have changed a little bit more. I fell into that trap of in Football Manager where you kind of just lose track of the fact time is whizzing us away. There wasn't a highlight in the second half. It really was just a drab affair. We had a lot of the ball, but didn't do a whole lot with it. And to be honest, Montpellier were worth a point. In the next game we had against Lorient, you can see here we drew 0-0 away from home. Dimitri Millet injured in the 3rd minute, which was less than ideal. We did make some changes to try and fix things up in this game, but well, it wasn't enough. In the end, it finished 0-0. You can see Felix did pick up the Man of the Match award, but really that was the only silver lining. So yeah, 2 games in a row without scoring is not ideal, particularly after our great goal scoring run. And especially against teams like Montpellier and Lorient, teams we need to win against, it's really not good enough. You can see, looking at the league form here, we are still actually top of the league, mostly due to our unbeaten run to the season. But today's game against Marseille is going to be particularly important. You can see that right now, they're not a bad team by any means. They've won 4 games this season, all by fairly narrow margins, although they've had some tricky games in there. Of course, they are spearheaded by if we look here, Martial, who they signed on a free in the summer. I'm still a little bit annoyed that we didn't get him, but we just didn't have the financial spending power to really go out and make that kind of deal happen. But anyway, yeah, we are still top of the league, which is good to see. PSG slipped up a little bit early on. They actually lost against Troyes 1-0. You can see for us, Montpellier, the team who we drew against 0-0, they're down in 18th, and even Lorient down in 14th. It's really 2 games that we could look back on at the end of the season and be kicking ourselves over. We needed to be doing better than we were. But anyway, we are going to just get straight into today's game. It's not going to be a super, action-packed episode because there's not been that much happening. In terms of the team that we've got, no new injuries to speak of, other than that Millet injury, which I talked about before. Fractured cheekbone, but he has got protective equipment to allow him to play. The rest of our team, though, it looks fairly solid. We are still persisting with this tactic. I don't feel like the tactic was necessarily the undoing point, so to say, in that previous game. So, yeah, we're going to persevere. Hopefully it can come good for us today. And, well, let's just get into today's game. A big match for us against Marseille. I did feel like it was important to live-com this game. Of course, last season when we finished 3rd, they finished 4th. At home against them today, we're really desperate to, well, hopefully run out victors and make a comfortable win of that, especially after our poor performances in the last few games. And yeah, well, let's hope that we can bounce back here. It is a big match for us. We have got Zenit coming up in the Champions League midweek following this game, but well, I feel like this is almost the more important match. We want to be becoming a mainstay of Champions League football, and we need to get good results against these bigger teams. It's something that actually last season we struggled with away from home for a period of the season. Of course, at home against Marseille today, I'm hoping that we can, well, really give them a good match here. That is going to be the main aim. And well, we do need to defend here, as they're going to be the team early on here on the attack. You can see Fuchs playing that right wing-back role. Does get back into a nice defensive position here, but he could get a little overwhelmed with Martial and the overlap on the left. They've committed a lot of men to the attack, and well, it's Rainy Adelaide with the interception. A player who started the season superbly. Been a bit quiet as of late, but with a ball like that to Kubik, he's going to make a name for himself. And you can see Ducasse here picking up the goal. He is still having some issues with his ethnicity, randomly being black in his regen photo. Wish I could explain that. I think Chevalier's face has now gone back to normal. But, well, either way, it was a lovely little goal, actually. Adelaide runs well. Kubik, a little nod down, obviously very good in the air. And well, Ducasse on the volley, a good finish for him. He's been in some rotten form in those last 2 games. I think in the last match he had a 6.1 rating. So for him to find the back of the net early on is good for us. A very, very positive sign that hopefully we can build off here. You can see 1-0 up, 20 minutes gone. It's looking okay for us at the moment. We've had a little bit more of the ball, although Marseille, they've created opportunities, but while Blonde intercepts here, Kubik out on that right-hand side as the complete forward, dropping in deeper. Almada now to Ducasse. Kubik on his shoulder. He might choose to go alone here. He does go alone. Probably should have done a little bit better with the finish. In the end, Livakovic gets behind the ball, parries it out for a corner, and to the edge of the box here to Chevalier. Almada back across. You thought for a second it was going to be a bit of set-piece wizardry, but unfortunately it is cleared away. So yeah, we have actually got a little bit of money to spend at the moment. I think we've got like £4 million in the bank. So I have been looking at a few different players that we could maybe bring in. I'm still looking at youngsters more than anything. I'm pretty happy with our first team at the moment. Obviously, despite the poor form of late, we are first in the league. And well, we're going to be hopefully cementing that further with a win here if we can. We want to show that we can do it against the big boys. The start of the season has been relatively kind to us in terms of fixtures. We need to be winning the games that we've been winning. And it's really going to be games like this that could, well, kind of defy our season. Can we get, another second, third, fourth place finish? That's really what we're aiming for. As Adelaide cuts inside, the £7 million man probably should have done a little bit better with the finish. Of course, was very involved in the first goal, but there, goes on a run on his own. You might back him to do a little bit more with it in the end. Just gives it as a gift back to the keeper to deal with here. Marseille definitely improved their team a lot though, kind of so far. You look at their team, they've got players like Nzonzi, Kubik's through, we'll talk about this in a second. Kubik slots it away, lovely finish, the ball through to him. I think it might have been Ducasse with that pass, it was. And they had one goal between them where it was, Kubik with the assist. This time it's Ducasse with a lovely little through ball to Kubik. Look at that, threads the needle, perfectly weighted. Kubik gets onto it, keeper maybe should do better, but we're not going to complain. And what I was going to say is Marseille have been very, very good in terms of the signings they've made. You can see here they've got Martial, they've got Nzonzi, they've got Rodrigo Cao, who's a very good player. There's some pretty good players in their team who we've definitely got to be wary of. I mean, we've had a pretty good start to the season. Obviously, the last two live comps we've lost. We lost against PSG in kind of the pre-season kind of Community Shield-esque cup. And then we, of course, lost to Chelsea last time out in a game that I'm still fuming about. But it looks like we are having the kind of performance that we've been given in the league here, which is good to see in our first league game live com of the season. Udakai wins that there, although he does give it straight back to Nzonzi. Not the position where you want your centre-back to be giving it away. Chevalier forces the ball to Otavio, who's going to run wide with it here. Can we prevent the cross? We can't. Back post, headed away by Diarra. And, actually a penalty been given. I think it was Fuchs with a push on Martial, who now has a chance from the spot. And, with envious eyes, we look over at Martial as he is going to be taking this. We would have loved to have signed him. Unfortunately, we couldn't. And, unfortunately for us, he's got Marseille back into this game. 2-1, a goal right before half-time, not when we want to be conceding. And you'd have to say in a match where we've been probably the better team, limited them to their one shot on target, which was that penalty. We suddenly find ourselves in a somewhat less uncomfortable position, although, hopefully we can give the perfect response here. Fuchs at right back, hopefully he can now crack on, get his head back in the game, and while we're on the attack immediately here, Kubik! You thought for a second it was going to be a reply within a minute. Unfortunately, the shot does whiz over the crossbar. Worth noting, actually, their players are very tired this game. I didn't even notice that. A lot of players around 60 condition, whereas ours are kind of 70 to 80, which is really good to see. That's definitely going to benefit us as this game goes on. And, I'm going to tell the players here I'm happy with how the performance is going. 2-1 up, definitely not a bad first half by any means. Bit of a shame that penalty takes a little bit of the shine off the performance so far, but if we can play like we did in that half, I have no doubt we are going to run out victors here. And, could we get something immediately? You thought for a second it was going to happen as Kubik looked to thread through Ducasse, but unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. Anyway, they've got the ball here. Martial cutting inside, gets it through to Capone. Fortunately for us, Lafont holds on to it in goal. Very good save by him. Still am kind of rotating Lafont and Sunday West. I feel like they're two very evenly matched goalkeepers, but at the moment Lafont's been in pretty good form. He's been fairly reliable, obviously, with 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games, so we are sticking with him. But yeah, expect both goalkeepers to get a bit of a run out this season. Anyway, Kubik with a fancy little turn there. Ducasse running through, back to Kubik. Fuchs is out on wide here. Could he whip the ball in? He does. Kubik once more to Ducasse. Would have been a lovely goal if it could have been topped off with the finish there. Unfortunately, straight into the keeper's hands. But, potentially another chance here. Again, on this right-hand side, Fuchs finding a little bit of room here. Blonde playing that Mazzala role, kind of dropping wide as well, which is good to see him helping out Fuchs. And, we do have the ball here. Can we work it from deep? Blonde, Almada. Nice play to Kubik. Only really a few options ahead of him. Tries to get it to Reni Adelaide, who, can't get there. And, Marseille going to look to maybe clear this up the field now. Capone with the ball. Now with Otavio, no one in support, goes alone, and that was a speculative effort, to say the least. It whizzes wide of the post. Still only 2-1, still not entirely comfortable. There's been lots of chances, actually, to start this half, and we're going to be looking for more from our players here, maybe. We give the ball away immediately to Raniel. He now gives it forward again, and Marseille, they've kind of got into this a little bit more this half already, and it's Martial with the ball on a booking. The goal scorer gives the ball away though. Ducasse and Kubik, a 2-on-2 here against the centre-backs. Kubik running at his man, beats him, and well, that was a little bit of a rush of blood to the head there as that shot whizzes wide of the mark. Udokai and Diarra on bookings is a little bit concerning. Rene Adelaide definitely had the best game. I think we're going to take him off. We'll bring in Trincao out on the left. Part of me wants to bring in Perez. For Udokai, he's had a really poor game. I wouldn't normally sub the centre-backs, but with Udokai having a bad performance and also being on a booking, it makes sense. And well, we need to deal with this set piece here. Latio hits it. It hits the woodwork. And it's offside in the end by Nzonzi. That was a little bit too close for comfort there. Really good chance for Marseille. Hitting the woodwork. Rebound couldn't be dispatched because of that flag being raised. And we're let off the hook. We still look like we're the better team in terms of having more of the ball, but we need to create something here with it. That's what we wanted. A 2-goal cushion is restored. It's taken a little while in the second half. Kubik to Ducasse. Ducasse winning it in the air. Lovely finish by him. That is what we needed more of. Fuchs throws it down the line to Kubik. Nice bit of build-up play here. Down the line, Kubik finds that space. Ducasse unmarked at the near post. Squeezes in. Keeper maybe should do a little bit better. We're not going to complain one little bit though. 75 minutes gone. We look good now for the lead. You'd think that should be job done. Still 12 minutes left. We shouldn't get too overconfident here as Kubik nods it down to Ducasse, who's through for the hat-trick. And, well, I think that would have been for the hat-trick. It would have been. Of course it would have been. He scored one very early on for us. But unfortunately this time, Ducasse couldn't find the back of the net. Although Chevalier, Trincao, Almada. Nice little bit of build-up play. Shot blocked. We're creating a lot, which is good to see. Defensively, we do look a little bit frail. 5 clear-cut chances we've had to their 2. And you'd have to say it's been kind of that chance creation which has really been the difference maker here. We have had slightly more of the ball. Marseille still limited to just 2 shots on target, one of which was the penalty. And well, they had a little bit of a resurgence at the start of this second half, but it quickly died out. They couldn't find the goal, and since we've scored, we've looked like the better team. We're on the attack again once more here. Trincao on off the bench, fresh-legged, very rapid player, of course. Finding space, crosses it in. Almada, a bit of a beast in the air, unfortunately. He couldn't find the back of the net there, heads it over the crossbar, and well, this kind of just crazy number of chances we've been seeing in this game continues. 6 clear-cut chances now. A little bit frustrating to have squandered so many. You'd really want to be taking a few more than the 3 that we've taken in this game, given the quantity of the chances. And the quality of them has been good as well. But the finishing has left a little to be desired. Hopefully it isn't going to come back to bite us as... Well, it's late on in this game, and we are the team with the ball once more, trying to build something from the back here. Fuchs with space out wide, crosses it in, and Zodzi heads it away to Blond, to Trincao. Could he squeeze it in here? Of course he can. 4-1, and now it looks like a rout, and it really has been a rout, you'd have to say, in terms of just pure chance creation. This is the kind of performance we need, you know. We are, well, last year's 3rd place team taking on last year's 4th place team. 4-1 up here. It's going to do our goal difference a world of good. It's going to, well, give Marseille a little bit to think about, and especially given the 2 draws in our last 2 games. We needed a win from today's game. Our first real test of the season. And, well, I'd like to not concede again if we can avoid it, but certainly the win is all but ours now. There is a very, very slim chance they're going to score 3 goals in the next 3 minutes. I mean, weirder things have happened in football. I don't want to concede again if we can avoid it, as Martial whips it in. Lafont collects it. No nonsense. And, well, you'd have to say this has been just a pleasing performance. Exactly the kind of thing that we needed given our little bit of turbulent form. And, well, we could still get enough. We could get a 5th. We want 5. I didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of today's game. Bit reminiscent of the end we had to last season where we played with a lot less pressure on our shoulders and really ran rampant in games. You know, we beat Lyon 5-0. And, well, Ducasse, what a finish that is. Take a bow, my son. He gets his hat-trick. His goal scoring has been a little bit questionable last season and to start this season, but with a finish like that, he gets his hat-trick. Where did that shot come from? Almada with it to Blond. Kubik, lovely build-up play. Kubik with another assist for the collection, but it was all about that finish from outside the box. 20 yards out, maybe even 25. Ducasse makes it 5. And we could get another. It's very unlikely at this point, but I want to believe Almada maybe should have done better there. It was a clear-cut chance to end the game. 8 of them we had. 5 goals we had, though. Martial's penalty, the only silver lining for Marseille today. And, you've got to be happy with that. That is what we needed after the start of the season that we've had. Great result for us there. Unfortunately, PSG did win. Monaco drew against Nice, so that's actually a pretty beneficial result to us. Although, actually, looking at it, that was the earlier kickoff. Monaco starts the season really poor. 8 points behind us they sit. Maybe this can be the season we crack the top two. You kind of look at it now. Ourselves and PSG find ourselves quite clear of the pack. And when you look at the goal difference, again, it just looks like us and PSG are a class above, which is exactly where we want to be this year. That is absolutely superb. A 5-1 win there. Decas, man of the match. Take a bow, my son. He has been great for us once more today. Classy Decas on form. I'm just going to praise him. He's top of the class once more. And, that takes his goal scoring for this season to 7 goals in 9, which, compared to the 4 goals in 8 he had previously, suddenly looks significantly better. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap things up from me today. Big win for us today. Very, very big result. In terms of when we'll be back next time, I think we might do the game against Roma. We have got a game against Monaco between now and then, but I feel like the Champions League is going to be a little bit more of a focus. And, that will set us up nicely going into the second half of the Champions League. You can see we have got PSG and Roma coming up as well. So maybe a double kind of live comp potential there. So keep an eye out for that. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. Fantastic result after a bit of a rough run of games. 3 games without a win prior to today's match. Hopefully we can build off that in the next few. And hopefully I see you guys next time. If you have enjoyed today's video, leave a like on it. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack. And I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.